Hello there. I am Beth Hubbard, and this is my capstone presentation on the effect of growth mindset and goal setting. A little about me. I graduated from Wayne State College in 2017 with my undergrad. I am a second grade teacher at Harney Elementary in the South Sioux City Community School District. And I'm currently in my third year of teaching, and I'm working towards my master's. Who has seen something like this, either in your classroom or even at home with your own kids? The student on the left is very frustrated, crinkling up paper. The student on the right is fully engaged into the lesson. I can just hear the student on the left saying something like, "I can't do this," or "This is way too hard." This is something that I was hearing a lot in my classroom. The power of having a growth mindset. Growth mindset language, you hear things like, "I can do it." This is a great experience. What am I missing? I am on the right track. Mistakes help me improve. I love this one. Fixed mindset, which would be the opposite of growth mindset. You hear things like, "I am afraid. This is just a waste of time. I made a mistake. Now I'm a failure." Or, "I am not good at this." So since I was hearing those things in my classroom, I was hearing more of the fixed mindset things in my classroom, I came up with this question for my master's. How does a growth mindset and goal setting help in students' learning? This is what my study was about. The why. Why did I choose this question? For the past 2 years, I have noticed students having a negative attitude toward failure, making mistakes, and challenges that they were faced with. I kept hearing things like, "I can't do this," or "This is just way too hard." And they were just giving up. This became regular in my classroom. My study included 21 students that were either 7 or 8 years old. The students participated in goal setting and growth mindset activities to help change their attitude toward failure and help them become lifelong goal setters. All the data was collected for approximately 6 to 8 weeks. Activities were done during the last 15 to 20 minutes of the day. The text that really drove me was Mindset, The New Psychology of Success by Carol Dweck. Some of the data that was collected, I did pre and post surveys. Here's an example of the survey over here. Some of the behaviors were I set goals for myself, I try hard things, I learn from my mistakes, I keep trying until I get it, I know my brain can grow and learn, I listen when others give me feedback. The students were supposed to be honest when answering these, and they would circle which smiley face they thought they were. This was done at the beginning of the study and at the end. I also collected anecdotal notes that I took throughout this study and student journaling. The students would journal once a week. Activities. We did all sorts of read alouds and videos and more to come on this. I modeled the positive growth mindset language, what it maybe should sound like. We did setting goals. We worked on setting goals. One thing that was hard for them at the beginning is they were setting hard goals that maybe were out of reach for them right now. We talked about attainable goals, and we talked about how when we can set a goal, but we need to really work on how you're going to make that goal. So the students would each get a sticky note. They would write their number on the back, and then they would write their goal on it and stick it up on our chart here. This chart was shown in the classroom at all times, so they were constantly reminded of the goal that they made for the week. The students would also journal about their experience with learning in their journals and maybe what was hard for them, what they were doing, what they liked. So here is my data. This is the surveys, and for example, this was the survey that they did. This was the graph for the pre-survey, and this was the graph for the post-survey. The pre-survey we did right at the beginning. As you can see, for I set goals for myself, often was the number one answer. I try hard things, often again was the number one answer. I learned from my mistakes right at the beginning. A lot of them chose always. I keep trying until I get it. Again, a lot of them chose always the most. I know my brain can grow and learn. most of them chose always, and I listen when others give me feedback. A lot of them chose always, but often was right behind. But the post survey, we saw a drastic change. All of the behaviors had always, and it was a huge growth. For example, I set goals for myself. Always went from 5 all the way to 13. I try hard things. It went from 8 always to 11 always. I learned from my mistakes, went from 11 choosing always to 13 always choosing always. I keep trying until I get it. 11 chose always to 17. And I know my brain can grow and learn. We went from 11 to 17 students chose always. I listen when others give me feedback. I went from 10 choosing that to 15 students choosing always. A huge growth. They really worked hard. The next piece of data was student journals. After looking at the student journals, 4 themes appeared to me. Well, they would journal about what was hard for them. They would journal about their goals. They reflect on their challenges. And they would demonstrate their growth mindset language. They would write about different challenges like tests and hard math problems and big words that they found in books. They would even journal about their behaviors, such as talking in class, which is kind of hard for them. They would discuss how they would reach their goal for the week and the progress that they had made on their goal. Anecdotal notes. After looking at the anecdotal notes, 4 categories appeared to me: student reflection, student response to growth mindset, students needing help throughout this, and the growth mindset language. Some examples. The students would openly discuss what was hard for them and how they should handle it, either with me, the teacher, or with their peers. Their language started changing, and it was amazing. They started saying things like, "We can do hard things," or "I am challenging myself to write more than 5 facts this time," or "This is one of my favorites from a student whose school is not so easy for him. I'm having a hard time right now, but I won't give up." And this last one became our class slogan: "I've got this." They would say this with enthusiasm, and they would really mean it. Some of my conclusions I found after my study. Through the graph, the study participants showed obvious growth in growth mindset behaviors, and each behavior, always like we saw, was the highest answer chosen on the post survey. Through the student journals, every student in the study showed some type of reflection, whether it was hard for them or on their goals. Through my anecdotal notes, it was observed that the students were feeling comfortable using their growth mindset language throughout the day without any prodding from me. Implications. After this study, I am going to replicate this into my future classes. The students' mindset changed, and their outlook on education can be empowered through this positive language and outlook. I'm going to use the same read alouds and activities and goal setting with my future classes. The read alouds and discussions did a great job of instilling the growth mindset language into the students and hearing that repetitively. I will also continue using the goal setting sheet once a week. The students benefited from looking at what they need to improve on and how they should reach their goals. Through this time that we are living in right now, where we're all doing e-learning, I didn't want my students to forget their growth mindset behavior, and I didn't want myself to forget either. So I created a digital portfolio for myself and for my students to use as a resource. I'm going to send this link over our website so my students can go ahead and get on this and read what we had read this year. Under read alouds, it has some of our favorite books that we read. Bubblegum Brain. Bubblegum Brain, this is a slogan that we said also. My kids want to be a bubblegum brain. They want to stretch and grow and not afraid to make mistakes. And they don't want to be the opposite, which would be a fixed mindset, a brick brain. They want to learn from their mistakes and change. This one was one of their favorites, and all of these stories are told by a fantastic storyteller who uses puppets, and the students were always fully engaged. This story was "I Can't Do That Yet," the power of yet. This little girl is giving up, and she has a dream of all the people she could be if she didn't give up. So all of these are fantastic stories, and giraffes can't dance. We did fun activities with this one where they would chart what they can't do yet, and then we came back to the chart and see if they could have accomplished it yet. I also have a tab for all the videos we watched. Class Dojo is a great classroom management tool, but it also includes great social skills and has 5 amazing videos on growth mindset to share. They all have to do with Mojo developing his growth mindset and not giving up on his project. Each episode is not very long. It's less than 5 minutes long. Your brain is like a muscle. You have to keep working it out. The magic of mistakes. Mistakes are okay. The incredible power of yet. Just because you can't do something right now doesn't mean you won't be able to. The mysterious world of neurons, talking about the brain and how it grows. And Mojo puts it all together. I hope my students enjoy this, and I hope you enjoy this too. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed and will incorporate a growth mindset routine into your classroom.